everybody. We are back again to talk a little NFL football. We are done with the regular season. It's over.
And
it's over. Goodbye.
A lot of important games happened, and we'll talk to you about
a lot of stuff. We are going to recap Week 18. We always do that. Probably have a little dumpster fire in the middle there, and then we're going to jump into the playoff games. Talk about the wild card weekend. Wild card weekends is one of my favorite weekends of the year. It's always fun to talk about. But let's go ahead and recap our Week 18 first. We had a couple Saturday games. We had the Chiefs at the Raiders. That was pretty easily to figure out what it was.
And the Chiefs did the ring around the rosy play. That
was so fun. They ran in a circle, and then that was on the 2-point play, wasn't it?
That's how little respect Josh McDaniels has.
Good, yeah. Well, Carr, their starting quarterback, is now on the trade block, so
Josh McDaniels.
McDaniels, yeah.
Ran him off.
But congrats to the Chiefs getting the number 1
seed in the AFC.
Number 1 seed in the AFC again. So, congrats to them. Oh, we hope they do good. The other playoff game we had Saturday night was the Titans at the Jaguars. Winner goes on, loser
goes home. The Titans are going home.
With their how many did they lose in a row in the season?
Count it with me, home kids. I'm going to try to be educational.
Yeah.
1 + 1 is 2. + 1 is 3. + 1 is 4. + 1 is 5. + 1 is 6. + 1 is 7.
Somewhere about there, they should have fired their offensive coordinator. Not at the end. Lost 7 in a row.
The offensive line played horrible. They barely gave Dobbs any time to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. And when they barely gave him any time, he got hit in the back by a blitzing defender. Mm-hmm. And that's what led to the loss.
Yeah, they didn't. Their offense under Downing.
Oh no, Todd Downing. I told you Todd Downing was gonna. I told you. My relationship with Todd Downing. Your problem with Kellen Moore. I told you.
Yeah.
While we were sitting there, Todd Downing is gonna screw this up. He's gonna find a way.
He did find a way. And then after the game was over, what'd they do?
Out of here, Todd.
They finally fired Todd Downing. If they would have fired him after their third straight loss, they might have had a chance. Why do you wait till you lose 7 in a row to get rid of him?
Vrabel said it was to keep continuity.
Yeah, continually losing. What? What? You like that continuity? You won't change? You like losing?
I don't like losing. I don't like losing. Do you like losing?
No. I don't want to keep it the same. A little change might have been good about 3 or 4 losses.
Why would you keep Todd Downing on a 7-game losing streak when your offense averages 16 points a game?
What's the use of firing him at the end of the season? Season's over then. You could have fired him 6 months later.
Todd Downing will go down as one of the worst coordinators I've ever seen coach.
Yeah, he was
really bad.
Really bad.
One of the Triforces of suckage is gone.
And at least for wasting probably the prime years of Derrick Henry, really.
2 years down the toilet because of Todd Downing.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully Henry will be able to come back next year and be strong. Hopefully they bring Dobbs back and give him a chance to be the starter.
He had to deal with Todd Downing. Just think about that.
Yeah.
He had to deal with him for 2 games. And that rancid offensive line.
It was bad.
But the Jaguars get the win. They did just enough.
Yep.
And the Jaguars clinched the AFC South after a remarkable turnaround.
The Jaguars' defense won it. Jaguars' offense looked pretty bad in that game. They were wishy-washy, soft.
From 3-7 to 9-8.
9-8, yeah.
And so
congrats to them.
The Titans completed one of the biggest collapses in NFL history.
And Jacksonville got one of the biggest turnarounds. And why was it? Doug Peterson. It was the coach. I still say 75% of every NFL team, any college football team, is the coach. Because everybody's got good players. It's the situations that you put them in. And the Jaguars were a laughingstock last year. This year they won their division.
And they got a different head coach in there. That's why.
That's why. So congrats to the Jaguars for moving on. We had your Panthers at the Saints. Man, the Panthers won.
On a last-second field goal, that's how we end our year.
10-7 in the bottom of the ninth.
Would have been
They
nice to have
knocked
that
the
last
walk-off
game.
home run.
Would have been nice to have that the last game.
Yeah.
But, anyways, 7-10, gonna have a good draft pick anyway. It's below average record.
Yeah, they're probably going to end up with a new head coach too. Several people they've been talking to. One of them is
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. I hope Kellen Moore doesn't go to your head coach of your Panthers.
Oh my god!
I hope he goes to college. He might be decent in college. Man, he doesn't need to be coaching in it. Now, I'll take that back. His offensive scheme sucks. He might be a good head coach. He might have the temperament to be a good head coach.
Okay,
Probably not.
I can't imagine Kellen Moore being our freaking head coach.
At least you can look forward to some good draft picks.
Kellen Moore is so awful. Why would you want to hire him? He's such a. He manipulates. He makes you think he's a good mind when he's not.
When you've got all the talent that Dallas has, you can look pretty good because you've got all of that talent. But
you wonder why Dak leads the league, was one of the league leaders in interceptions this year.
Because of a bad offensive scheme.
And the Panthers want that? I just don't understand.
I don't understand it either. We had the Buccaneers at the Falcons. Dang. Well, they didn't. The Bucs didn't need to have this win. They'd already won the division. So
but Todd Bowles in the playoffs does not smell good to me.
No, it doesn't. But
Tom Brady's going to have to drag him.
They've got a favorable matchup, and we'll talk about that coming in, though. But congrats to the Falcons on getting the W. I said it's really hard to pick the last couple weeks of the year, especially the very last week of the year, because some teams just don't show up. They don't need to play. They don't want to play, and you get some Falcons, beating the Bucs. We had the Patriots at the Bills. The Patriots needed the win,
and we made a mistake by picking.
Yeah, I thought the Bills might pull back because they didn't.
DeMar Hamlin was still seeping through their pores, and they played very passionately.
Well, I also didn't really pay attention. They were probably really playing for the second seed still, because if they would have lost, they would have. There was a chance that they could have lost the second seed to Cincinnati. So they were playing for the second seed, and they were playing for Hamlin.
And they beat the Patriots out of the playoffs.
And the Patriots are not in the playoffs.
I blame Matt Patricia. He's not.
They got 3 defensive coaches on that team and no offensive coaches.
You know who comes a-calling this offseason, though? Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien could go back up there and be an offensive. Now, he's got a good offensive mind. He just doesn't need to be head coaching anything.
Because we saw the last time he was the head coach.
Yeah. Now, we had the Vikings at the Bears, and the Bears didn't play Justin Fields, and they didn't hardly play this game.
But they did win the ultimate prize. The number 1 pick.
The number 1 pick in the draft, which will be a defensive player. All of their money is riding on Fields right now, is what they're saying. So they're probably going to pick maybe Will Anderson or what's the other guy? The Georgia, I can't remember the Georgia
Jalen
guy.
Carter from Georgia.
Yeah, the Jalen Carter. It'll probably be one of those 2 that they pick up. So, but congrats to the Bears for being the worst team in the NFL
and getting actual. This kind of stuff, if you do it over and over, can give to you progress.
Yeah,
and give you the ultimate prize.
But if you get the great players and then you don't pay them the money and they leave after 3 years and go to another team, then it's a waste of time.
But the Vikings are so strange.
The Vikings, I don't
know
if
they're
they're real.
11 close games. That's the most in NFL history.
And I don't know how far they're going to go in the playoffs. We'll talk about that here in a second, too. We had the Ravens at the Bengals.
The Ravens, I don't know when the heck Lamar Jackson will be back.
They're saying he's on schedule to come back for the playoffs, but he still hasn't practiced.
Why? Why are you saying you could come to the playoffs if you're not practicing?
Don't know. But the Bengals won their game.
They're going to be 12-4 heading into the postseason.
Now 27. They started off a little rough because they had a lot of injuries.
Then they ripped off
an
amazing.
They look good right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't stir up a
little trouble.
The Super
Bowl again.
Again, yeah. Had the Texans at the Colts, 32-31. The Texans lost the first pick of the draft.
But they won't lose Bryce Young, probably.
They shouldn't. Chicago shouldn't take Bryce Young. The Texans will at the 2 spot.
But they did fire Lovie Smith.
They did fire Lovie Smith.
That makes no sense. No sense. I mean...
That's probably why they won that game. You firing me? I'll take this W and walk out the door with it.
This finally puts
that's
an end
funny.
to one of the worst quarterback seasons, one of the worst offensive seasons from a football team I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was bad.
The Colts, they were a pigsty the entire season.
They were bad.
The entire season.
Didn't matter who was looking over them, who was coaching them, who was doing what.
No matter what quarterback was in there, it seemed to be bad every time.
It was bad, yeah.
They benched Matt Ryan because they thought he was bad, and then they benched Foles because he throws 3 picks. And then they come in for the rookie quarterback, Sam Ehlinger. He doesn't look good at all. It's just a mess.
I think the guy selling hot dogs was the quarterback the last half of the game. I don't know.
I mean, there are so many quarterbacks there.
Yeah, it was bad. We had the Jets at the Dolphins. The Dolphins needed this win to have a chance for the playoffs.
And they got it in a very defensive game.
11-6 again in the bottom of the ninth. The walk-off grand slam.
The Dolphins did get the win, so they're in the postseason.
They're in the postseason, so that's what they
With
needed.
a backup quarterback.
With a backup quarterback. As Tua is out this week also. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. The Steelers needed a win to have a chance for the playoffs and to not have a losing season.
They also needed Miami to lose to make the playoffs, but that did not happen. So
Nope.
they played for keepers, and they beat Cleveland 28-14. And for the Browns' sake, I'll mention this first. Joe Woods is gone as D coordinator.
Joe was one of our
stinkers.
One of our diamond stinkers.
He's out.
So we have our offensive coordinator gone.
Todd Downey's gone.
Our defensive coordinator's
Joe
gone.
Woods is gone, and Hackett's gone.
And Hackett, the head coach of the Broncos, is gone. So we had 3 of our horrible bad coaches gone. We've still got Kellen Moore, and
maybe we should put McDaniels in.
We can put McDaniels back in Hackett's place. So we still got 3 our bad coaches that need to be hacked and gone. Yeah. But congrats to the Steelers for not having a losing season. They still do not have a losing season. They can take that trophy.
Yep, the 9-8. Mike Tomlin did a great job. If me and Dad told each other, if he had a winning season with this team,
you got to give him respect.
He does have a winning season now.
He took that team and
won 9 games.
And win. I get you. What do you got? What do they call that? You get a participation trophy. Didn't get to the playoffs,
but you got a winning
season
again.
We had the Chargers at the Broncos. The Broncos won the game and won too because they fired that coach finally.
Because
they should have fired him.
Gone.
They should have fired him 6 games into the season when he couldn't manage the time clock. They should have fired him right there. Bam! Get out.
That Christmas Day blunder was summing everything that was bad about Hackett, and now they can finally wash the taste of this season from their mouths.
It's funny because right after he was fired, it was amazing how good they looked. They won 2 straight games. I mean, they scored what?
And they were blaming
scored 31 points.
They were blaming Russell Wilson for being a bad quarterback.
You don't go from the Pro Bowl to the worst quarterback ever because it's because somebody coaching you sucks.
And Hackett was bad.
We had the Giants at the Eagles. The Eagles wanted to win to wrap up the number 1 seed, and they did
so. And the Giants are still a playoff team.
The Giants looked good. I mean, they only lost by 6 points. It wasn't a blowout or anything.
Imagine if
they had chances.
They can get a wide receiver in there. They could be.
Yeah, they're doing all this without a really good wide receiver, just a running back and a quarterback.
Brian Dable first year to the playoffs.
I had the Cardinals at the 49ers. 49ers, with Philadelphia's injuries, may be the best team in the NFC.
From what I've seen, I think San Francisco can legit give them a run for their money.
A run for their money right now, yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
But the Cardinals are in a bunch of turmoil.
Oh, it's their head coach.
Cliff Kingsbury, he's gone.
And I would have never have guessed that.
With how he started last year in the 11-6, and this year was just a disaster.
You give the quarterback a $200 million contract and then fire the coach you had grooming him?
And J.J. Watt retiring on top of that.
JJ retiring? I'm going to miss J.J. I like J.J. I've never been a fan of the Texans or the Cardinals, but I'm a fan of a good player, and he is a good player. He's just a good guy. Good guy, good player, fun to watch, he's what the NFL should be. When you want to wonder what the NFL should be, look at him and his career. That's what the NFL should be. It's sad to see him go, but man, they got to find a new coach.
And then they got to find dang nabbit everything.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Hopkins might be asking for a trade. I mean, it is a disaster.
They better bring in a very good offensive system for DeAndre. Yeah. Because they need to put Kyler Murray
in a good situation.
In a good situation. Or that's going to...
Or, I mean, a great situation. Or that puppy's going to implode real quick. We had the Rams Seahawks. Seahawks needed to win. They got it.
19-16.
And Geno Smith continuing his surprise season.
He's had hit the best year of his career, so I'm happy for him that he gets to go out with a bang here. I mean, he'll be back next year too, but you don't know how good they'll be with their team and stuff. So he had this really good year. It's probably his best year statistically ever, wasn't it?
Yes, he's a Pro Bowler.
So 19-16, go for it, baby. We had the Cowboys at the Commanders, and I told you the Cowboys would lose to the Commanders.
Because Kellen Moore is Kellen Moore.
They looked the worst they have the entire year. So, and your last week of the year when you're trying to prep for the playoffs, you look the worst you ever have.
I put that on McCarthy because he's had a reputation of under-preparing. And I put that on Kellen Moore because his offensive schemes usually suck.
You know what? This reminded me of a Garrett coached team. Look, I mean, what's really changed from the Garrett team to this team? The same offensive coordinators are, baby. You know why they look the same? Because the same guys calling the plays throughout all of this garbage. Kellen Moore has called the plays for every bit of this. And they sucked through every bit of it.
Well,
I don't understand why
since Todd Downing is gone, Kellen Moore now has the title of worst offensive coordinator.
He is the worst offensive coordinator, and I thought it was anyways, but he's right now he is the worst offensive coordinator in the game of football.
Todd Downing was giving him a run for it there, but Kellen Moore is number one on the stink list.
Yep. And then our last game of the year, the Packers needed to win to get in.
And they laid a dookie.
Through an interception. The Packers are gone. All the big talk, all the 5 wins in a row.
It's down the toilet. But
take this with you as you go out.
The Lions finished the year 9-8.
The Lions missed the playoffs because the Seahawks won. But dang it if they didn't take home a participation trophy too.
What a late season surge.
9-8 and knocking your rival Packers out of the playoffs.
That has to taste just as good as a playoff.
I mean, you ain't going to the playoffs, but dang it, you're going home pretty happy.
The first year under Dan Campbell was 3-13-1. This year, 9-8.
The team's sort of taking his mentality a little bit. They're a tough...
To chew your kneecaps off and bite your nose.
They're a tough, rugged little team there. I'm anxious to see them next year.
I'd like to see the Lions this year. That's upcoming season.
Definitely.
Great season to build off of.
All right. That is our recap of Week 18.
On to the playoffs.
On to the dumpster fire.
After the
one more dumpster fire, and then we'll get.
I don't know.
The
Maybe
playoffs.
we might have another one if there might be a bad performance.
We need to have a dumpster fire of the year. I mean, just blazing. Anyways, here's our dumpster fire of the week.
Dumpster fire of the week.
Yeah. And our stinker, we're gonna go ahead and do the stinker of the year. Just go ahead and get that out of the way because we're at the end of the regular season. So this is our stinker of the year.
And it's the Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts, man.
Dear gosh. Did you see a team woefully underperform?
I picked them to probably win the AFC South. I thought they would be almost a little deadly this year, that they might knock off a team or two in the playoffs. Because they had Matt Ryan coming in, a Super Bowl playing quarterback. They had Taylor coming in. They had Pittman. They had a superb looking offense.
They had a good offensive line going in. And everything that you could possibly think of just fell to pieces.
What was their record at the end of the year?
Their record at the end of the year, it was definitely...
What did they end up with?
4-12-1.
4-12-1. Everybody was thinking, man, the Texans were horrible. The Colts were only one game better than the Texans. And they were supposed to win their division. We knew Texans were going to suck.
The Texans, so I cut them slack at the beginning of the year because we knew the Texans were going to be bad.
We knew the Bears were going to be bad.
We knew the Bears were going to be bad.
So the Bears are a dumpster fire. The Texans are a dumpster fire.
But they're expected.
We saw that dumpster smoldering all year long. We knew it was smoldering.
So it's a familiar smell.
Yeah, this has been a mansion that morphed to a burning dumpster fire.
I mean, they had to fire their head coach. They had to fire their offensive coordinator. Matt Ryan was throwing interceptions.
How many quarterbacks did they go through?
Like 3 or 4.
3 or 4 quarterbacks during the year?
Dear gosh.
No. It was... I feel bad for...
Matt Ryan.
For Matt Ryan, yeah.
And Jonathan Taylor, he didn't have a 1,000-yard season.
No.
I mean, the offense was 31st.
I feel bad for that new head coach they brought in.
Jeff Saturday.
For Jeff Saturday.
He got thrown to the Wolves.
He got thrown to the Wolves. Like, dude, I mean, this dumpster fire is burning. Here, hold this can of gas, jump in there and see if you can fix it. I don't know, man. It was pretty bad. So
Vikings Colts. That's the game that epitomizes the Colts.
They were up by 33 points and lost. The worst comeback, the best comeback, worst and blown lead in the history of the game.
I was laughing my rear end off, and I shouldn't have been. I know I shouldn't have been because that's horrible.
That's bad.
Dearest of all that is good and decent, get yourself straightened out. We're like that guy. The Colts are like that guy that stumbles into a bar, gets drunk all night, walks out, and decides to drive, and then he crashes his car into a pole.
And then wonder what happened. What happened? But I don't know, man. I hope I hope Saturday gets another chance because I think Saturday could be a good coach. I think he learned a lot through these last 6 games of the year that he was in there with. So I hope he gets another chance because I like Saturday. All right, that's it. That was our dumpster fire of the year. Let's talk about wild card weekend, baby. We got 6 games this weekend. We got 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday, and then a Monday night game. Starting off, we got the Seahawks at the 49ers.
This should be the 49ers to pretty much game right here.
Geno Smith has had a fantastic year. 49ers are favored by 10. I'm taking the 49ers by 10. That's a big number for a playoff.
But the Niners are rolling.
They are really, really, really good right now. They just beat the Cardinals by 25.
What do you expect?
They beat the Commanders by 17. They beat the Seahawks earlier in Seattle by 8. So, it might be a little bit of a revenge game, but this is in San Francisco. And
San Francisco in the playoffs historically is really good.
I think the 49ers and the Eagles
from what I've seen from the San Fran,
are 1-1. Those two,
the Eagles and the 49ers, appropriately placed, are 1-1.
They are 1-1. It's there's 1A and 1B.
And the Eagles and the Niners are 1A and 1B.
1B. And the 49ers may be 1A because they have 0 injuries right now. So
we'll see at the end of the season.
We'll see, but we do like the 49ers minus 10. We got the Chargers at the Jags.
Saturday night playoff.
Saturday night at 8:15. The Chargers are only favored by 1.5. I'm rolling on that sucker.
You want to roll with the Chargers?
I'm rolling with the Chargers.
Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence played their first ever playoff games against each other.
Jacksonville did not look good beating Tennessee. I mean, if it hadn't been for a fumble that looked like an incomplete pass.
But to be fair, that's Todd Downing's work.
But Tennessee would have won that game if it wasn't for that one defensive play. Because Jacksonville's offense looked bad. So how are they going to play against the Chargers and their defense?
Brandon Staley,
he might ease into that 4 head coaches that are underperforming, but I'm going to give it to him. He made it to the playoffs.
He made it to the playoffs this year.
Now, if he goes to Jacksonville and loses by 10, ding, he just got his spot in the 4 worst coaches in the league. But I am going with the Chargers. Sunday's games, we got the Dolphins at the Bills
by 100.
by 150 points. If Tua was there, it would be a game.
But
Tua is 8-2 this year. The Dolphins are 8-2 and a high contending playoff game when Tua doesn't die.
And whenever when
he gets ran over by a truck, they lose
a lot.
The line's 13, and I hate to take that big of a line, but
with that
dang, I got to take Buffalo minus 13.
When you compare the two teams, would you take Buffalo? I would take Buffalo.
I'm thinking 34-13. I'm thinking a 21-point game.
Might be the biggest blowout.
It might be the biggest blowout of the week just because of injuries. Again, if Tua was in, I think it's a one-score game. With Tua out, I think it's a 3-score game. Because is Teddy Bridgewater going to be back? Maybe.
He has that little pinky problem.
If he's not 100%.
It
could be 43-10, dude. It's got no. We got the Giants at the Vikings. This might be one of the
upset pick.
This is one of the most competitive games of the week.
I'm picking the Giants.
Giants +3.
I'm picking the Giants to win. This is our upset. The Minnesota Vikings have been playing
The
close
Vikings
games all
have
year.
skimmed by the hair of their chinny chin all week.
That can only go so well in the postseason.
It normally doesn't go very well in the postseason. Normally you're exposed pretty quick in the postseason. So, and the Giants, they're better than what people think they are. So Giants +3. We got the Ravens at the Bengals.
If Lamar comes back, they have a shot. But if they don't have him by the game time, the Bengals should win this game.
Right now, the Bengals are favored by 9.5. I'm going to go with that one too. I hate taking big lines, especially in the playoffs. But
without Lamar, I think the Bengals have it in the bag.
I think so too. And the Bengals have been on fire lately. They beat the Ravens last week by 11. They beat the Patriots in New England. They beat the Buccaneers by 11. They beat the Browns by 13. They actually beat the Chiefs the last time they played them. So 9.5 points may seem like a lot, but
we're probably going to take that.
I'm probably going to take that.
That's
That's high, but I got to take it in a divisional rival game. But I'm going to take Cincinnati. Yeah, I'm going to take Cincinnati. And last but not least, we have my Cowboys at the Buccaneers. Dallas is favored by 2.5.
We get a juicy matchup here.
I'm going with the Bucs.
You're going with Tampa?
Yeah. I think how many times has Dallas won a playoff game?
Not very consistently.
I think they've won one out of the past 25 years.
Oh, maybe two.
Maybe two at most. I can't remember. I lose track. But going into Tampa with Tom Brady.
But Todd Bowles. Don't forget, they have Todd Bowles. Kellen Moore versus Todd Bowles.
God, Kellen Moore versus Todd. Who screws this up the most?
What do you got your money on?
Tom Brady. Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Oh, dear Lord.
He wins the Super Bowl every other year.
But do you think he'll do it with this team?
If he does, he is the greatest ever. If you win the Super Bowl with Todd Bowles, if you can drag his sorry behind to the Super Bowl, then you're the best quarterback ever. But yeah, I'm taking the Bucs +2.5. I just don't trust the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Or Kellen Moore.
No, I don't trust Kellen Moore in the coach in high school. So yeah.
Your ongoing feud with Kellen Moore continues.
Yeah, continues, until they get rid of him. I'm going to keep saying it. He's horrible. But that is NFL for this week. Next week we'll come back.
Dive into the playoffs with us.
We will recap next week. We'll recap these wildcard games, and then we will talk about the divisional round playoffs. We will get the championship games and the lead-ups to the championship games, and then we got the Super Bowl coming. Oh, it's getting juicy. Oh, it's one of my favorite times of year. College basketball starting up, and we got the finals of the NFL. Anyways, we hope you had a little fun with us. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, leave some comments about what you think.
Hit the groovy button.
Hit the groovy baby button over here, and we'll see you next week on this. Yeah, we'll go and see you next week.
See you next week.